So, I gotta be honest, SUIKODEN was never on my radar. I never played these games back in the day. Never had that nostalgic childhood memory of whatever, and never spent my formative years learning how to pronounce SUIKODEN correctly. I'm just not that kind of person who usually plays these games. Turn-based RPGs, not my jam. Random encounters, cool, but long-ass menus full of numbers, I'd rather eat a stapler. But Baldur's Gate 3 was peak gaming, so I figured, hey, maybe I can enjoy an RPG that isn't just me tossing goblins off cliffs in creative ways. Also, Konami casually slid into my DMs with a key for this game, so... Hey, what do you know? It's a really cool game. Thanks, Konami. First off, the visual update. Gorgeous! These remasters don't just slap on cheap fillers and call it a day. They actually make the pixel art pop in a way that makes them feel like they're straight out of a beautiful fantasy novel. Every town, dungeon, and battlefield has a sense of charm that just hits right. Also, the character portraits, tasty! The soundtrack and sound design too. These games have some genuinely beautiful music that sets the mood perfectly. Whether it's the melancholy of a war-torn kingdom or the excitement of a grand adventure. I found myself humming along to some of those tracks, which is always a good sign. And those little sound effects from like the menus or something, crisp, nostalgic, and satisfying. Alright, here's the thing. If you've ever played any turn-based RPG, congratulations. You already know how You already know how SUIKODEN combat works. And that's not a bad thing. If you love that, great, more power to you. However, I don't care. You pick attacks, you wait for animations, you win, rinse and repeat. And I know this is more like a tactical combat, you need to think about your shit thing, but I just don't find that stuff appealing. So that said, the way you can mix and match your party members for like special combo moves, that's pretty cool. It's pretty neat. And from what I've read, some team setups are ridiculously busted. Apparently this was a thing back in the day, but like I said, I don't know. I guess it's tradition at this point. And as you know, I don't talk stories in these videos as I want you to experience the games for yourself. It's not my place to tell the story, it's the game's place. But let me tell you, it's full of the JRPG drama and flair that you all love. Alright, okay, I mean, these games came out like 30 years ago, but still, yeah. Actually, I wasn't expecting much from the story. I figured it'd be the usual plucky hero, fights evil, whatever. But it actually kind of hooked me. These characters are compelling. The political intrigue is genuinely interesting. And there's a sense of scale that makes the world feel alive. Now, I do have some gripes, because of course I do. The autosave system is baffling. It only kicks in when you enter certain rooms, which is like having a fire alarm when you're already on fire. If you forget to save manually, congrats, you can redo the last 30 minutes of your life. Continuing, I know this is standard for these kind of games, but I hate these menus. They're slow, clunky, and make me feel like I'm filling out paperwork instead of going on a great adventure. It's not a deal breaker, but every time I had to dig through 5 different menus just to equip a sword, I sighed deeply and questioned my life choices. So, despite my usual indifference towards turn-based RPGs, I actually really enjoyed the SUIKODEN I and II remasters. The updated visuals are beautiful, the music is wonderful, and the story had me way more engaged than I expected. Sure, the combat still isn't my thing, and the autosave system feels like a prank, but as a more or less complete outsider, I walked away pretty pleased. If you're already a fan of classic RPGs, you're gonna love this. And if you're like me and usually avoid these kind of games, you might be surprised. Thanks again to Konami for giving me a key. I had a succulent blast, succulent Chinese meal. Thanks again to Konami for giving me a key. I had a blast with both of these games. And I see you guys in whatever comes next. Hey, post-mortem Yoshi here. Yeah, so I hope you liked the video. If you do, please like it. My channel turned 10 years old this week. That's crazy, am I right? It gives you some things to think about. But you know what also is crazy? SUIKODEN these nuts.